In this week's video, we're going to talk about the concept of the snowball effect. The snowball effect is a concept where a game has gone to a dark place because of two things: an official's lack of rule knowledge and improper application of the rules. In cases like this, we see this most often with new officials and young officials. With young officials, a third concept comes into play where gamesmanship takes place. Gamesmanship takes place because the young officials, their lack of rule knowledge, gets taken advantage of by adult coaches. They know this can be exploited and they use it to their favor by talking them into decisions that may or may not be right. Let's take a look at several examples in the following clips that demonstrate this concept. As we think about the concept of the snowball effect, this is where we are. At the top of the mountain, a little tiny snowball. The decision that's about to be made is where the ball starts coming down the hill. Did you see the hit on the end wall? Let's take another look in slow motion. Remember, this is a 10U game. This is a competitive contact category game. The hit you're about to see is from behind. The decision that's made from here begins the snowball coming down the hill. Using USA Hockey rules, how would you label this hit? Please leave it in the comments. What would be the severity of this hit? A minor plus misconduct, a major plus game misconduct, or a match penalty? Let's take a look to see if we can identify what the official's decision was on this play. Let's give them credit for getting together to talk about this in the referee's crease. Here's the conversation. Looks like a body check signal and a misconduct signal, but yet nobody actually knows. And here they are explaining to the coach the penalties. He pushed him. He pushed him, but we're not sure. Only one player is in the penalty box. As play begins, we start to see the snowball coming a little bit further down the hill. We get an opportunity to see what the penalty was given. In this case, it was a 3-minute double minor. Because these are shortened periods, minor penalties are 1 minute 30 seconds. So the 3-minute penalty would represent a double minor penalty. Unfortunately, in the USA Hockey rulebook, this is just not an option. And now we can see where improperly applied rules come into play. What happens next? A power play goal. You guessed it. And yes, the snowball comes a little bit further down the hill, as the officials' penalty termination knowledge will be tested with the double minor penalty that they have assessed. So the question is, now what happens? Does the penalty go away? Is the penalty time reduced? Let's see what the officials thought. The decision was made to have 32 seconds on the penalty clock. Had the 3-minute penalty been the correct call and a goal was scored with 2:02 remaining in that penalty time, the first penalty would have terminated and the penalty clock should have been set to 1 minute and 30 seconds. It's important to note a goal can only terminate one penalty, and this is technically 2 minors. In this case, they had the goal terminate the full minute and 30-second penalty that had not been served yet, and they added the 32 seconds to the clock, which would have been the time left in the first penalty that was actually being served. As the puck goes down here for the center ice faceoff following the goal, the blue team notices, hey, something isn't right here. Watch the bench's reaction and watch the official directly in front of us go over and start having a conversation with the coach. The improper application of the rules is starting to mount, and the snowball's coming further down the hill. Watch now as play is stopped with the puck in the white team's defending zone. Give this crew credit. They stopped the game and got the proper penalty time up on the clock. They're now ready to restart play. Remember, play was stopped in White's D zone. But this is where the gamesmanship starts, in the exploiting of the lack of rule knowledge. Look at the white team coach lobbying for a neutral zone faceoff. He's now got the ear of the officials, and he's pleading his case. Let's see the result. He is able to convince these young officials, with their lack of rule knowledge, that this should be a neutral zone faceoff. Ultimately, this should have been a last play faceoff, with the faceoff occurring in White's D zone. Let us continue. You make the call. Remember, this is a 10U game. Again, using USA Hockey rules, how would you label this? And what would your severity be? Minor, minor plus misconduct, major plus game misconduct, or a match penalty? It's now getting late, and we have this happen. What do you have here? You make the call. Again, let us know in the comments. How would you label this? And what would the severity be? As we get the opportunity to watch this slow down, we'll see that the blue player sweeps the puck away, has nowhere to go, and collides with the white player, knocking him into the blue goalie. This ultimately should have been no penalty in a collision, but the officials on the ice do not have the benefit of instant replay or slow motion. It's important to remember that your credibility is always being judged. With 18 seconds remaining in the third period, in a penalty that was just called on the blue team, standing talking to the white coach during the timeout is sending the wrong message. Do not entertain a coach during the timeout. And the snowball continues down the hill. Potentially a 5-on-3 that could turn into a 6-on-3 with a goalkeeper being pulled. The gamesmanship continues. The blue coach convinces the officials that the white team cannot pull the goalie for an extra skater. This is straight manipulation of an adult to a minor official, because it's clear that the lack of rule knowledge, they are definitely getting taken advantage of here. And here's a result of the gamesmanship. The blue team convinces the officials for the goalie to return to the ice and the extra skater to leave. The puck goes down. They now make the substitution. The blue team convinces the officials that this is too many players on the ice, and they stop play. You can see the blue team celebrating as though the white team is now going to get a penalty. Ultimately, a local supervisor steps in, corrects the penalty situation, and has the officials treat this as a premature substitution of the goalkeeper. The game ends in a 5-5 tie. Hopefully now you understand the snowball effect and how things can get sideways quickly. Things can get away from us when we don't know the rules or how to properly apply them. We are all here to help, but there's no excuse for not knowing the rules. Everyone needs to get into the rule book on a regular basis. If you need help in Illinois, please visit IHOA.com. If you need help on the East Coast or in the New England area, please visit refereescrease.net.